Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Excuse my throat. Welcome to day 200 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we're talking about ants and the impact they have on your mental health and well-being. What the heck are ants? Well, ants are automatic negative thoughts. Read a terrific book on this. Cannot remember the doctor's name who wrote it, but I will remember maybe by tomorrow. Otherwise, we're just going to talk about the topic because it is so powerful and it has such a huge impact on our mental health, our mental well-being, our thoughts, our processes, etc. It's, to me, limiting beliefs on steroids, because limiting beliefs we don't realize are limiting us, but ants are automatic negative thoughts. They happen in a subconscious level without us ever even really being consciously aware of it. But they rule and influence and impact so much of our life. What's even possible for us? Ants, common characteristics of ants are they're negative by default. They focus on the worst case scenario. They lend, and they tend to be distorted versions of reality. They're not based on truth or evidence at all. They're just based on cognitive bias. It means we think something and we decide that it's true for us, and it gets locked into our subconscious, and it runs programs all the time that are influencing our decision making, or what we will even try to do, what we even think is possible for us to accomplish. They impact our emotions and our behavior, which of course impacts our results. It leads to anxiety, stress, depression, procrastination, avoidance, not doing the things we know we should do, etc. So what are some common types of ants? I'm going to share probably 5 common categories of ants, and our action item today is going to be identify our personal top 3 ants. What are the top 3 automatic negative thoughts that we have? Normally we take a week for this process, but we're just going to do a shortened version of it today. And if you want to, we can walk through and we can do a week-long process of it, because I think it's really powerful. Because there's such a negative influence on our lives, and believe me, we are surrounded by negativity. I think it contributes to part of the 70% of our thoughts every day are negative. I think it's a lot of that is our automatic negative thoughts running programs on us and influencing us in negative ways. So what are some examples and categories of all automatic negative thinking? Number 1, all or nothing thinking. Viewing situations to extremes. If you use terms like always or never, it indicates to you that you are doing or running an ant program in your subconscious level. All or nothing thinking example would be, if I'm not perfect, I'm a failure. If I don't get this promotion, it's the end of my career. If I don't marry this person, then I'm never going to have children. I mean, it's all kinds of things that we tell ourselves that are extremes, because it's when we think that nothing or everything is impossible. Number 2, overgeneralization. Assuming one negative event defines our entire life. I guess the last ones were kind of examples of that as well. I made a mistake at work, so I'll never be successful. Really? Really? No. All of us make mistakes. We are human beings. Everybody makes mistakes. It doesn't mean that it's the be-all and end-all of anything or everything. The 3rd category is catastrophizing. I kind of love this one. I am guilty of this, especially when it comes to the safety of my granddaughters. Expecting disaster in every situation. I don't expect disaster in every situation, but I want to make sure that I'm putting things in place to prevent any disaster from ever happening on my watch. Examples of this are, if I give this presentation, I'll embarrass myself and my career will be over. Really? Who hasn't done a flub in a presentation? I've done literally hundreds of them. Heck, I think almost every day I trip over my tongue on something. 4th, mind reading. Assuming we know what other people think about us. Really? Do we ever? Heck, half the time we don't even know what we think about ourselves, much less what other people think about us. So an example of this would be, they didn't text me back, therefore they do not like me, and we are not friends, or whatever. And then the 5th category is personalization, taking blame for things that are beyond our control. How many of us do that? I think I can honestly say I've done all of these in my life, and you probably have too. You just might not be aware of it because they're automatically negative thoughts. They just happen without us thinking about them. or being consciously aware of them. So example of this is the project failed because I didn't do enough. Nonsense, right? Especially if it's a team project. No. There's so many factors that lead to the success or failure of any project of any size. To think it's all our fault is ridiculous. It's like thinking we can control the weather. Last time I checked, we can't control the weather, right? It's raining outside. It was thunderstorming last night when I went to bed, and I woke up this morning surprised it was rainy, and I'm like, oh, that's right. There was big thunder last night when we all went to bed. Hello, thunderstorm, rain. Can I control that? No. Can I react and respond to it? Yes. So recognizing these patterns in ourselves is extremely powerful. It's the first step in controlling them. So I'm going to share a 4-step process for identifying these ants. And tomorrow we're going to spend a whole day on what to do about them, right? Because it doesn't do us any good just to identify them if we're not going to do something about them. So step 1, what are we going to do? Normally this we do for a week. We would observe and record our inner dialogue for a week. And then we would ask ourselves questions about events and things that happened. We'd say, okay, what's the situation or the trigger from this event? We would ask ourselves, what were the thoughts that popped up? And then what's the emotion that it caused? We want to start identifying when these ants are running, and that is the first step in being able to do something about them. Secondly, we want to, usually at the end of the week, but at the end of the day today, look at what came up. Are there any patterns? Are there phrases or situations that come up over and over and over again? For example, I can't do anything right. I'm a klutz. People always judging me. People are always judging me. This will never work. I'm not good enough. That's just the way I am. I can think of a whole lot of these. And these aren't all mine, by the way. They're just ones that have come up often with people. I'm not good enough is it's one that comes up all the time. Or, you know, like I said, I'm a klutz. I used to do that one all the time, and I'm like, okay, if I want to keep being a klutz, I'm going to keep saying that. It's an automatic negative thought. I need to scrub that and erase that and do something different. Step 3, we're going to group and prioritize the ants because we want to know which ones are most important for us thinking about them to eliminate. We want to put similar ones together and identify our top 3 recurring ones. Why? Because they are most likely the ones that are shaping our decisions and shaping our self-image and shaping what we think we're even capable of seeing and doing and being and having. And this whole challenge is all about improving and being the best possible version of ourselves, and eliminating ants is one of the fastest, easiest ways to do that. Because once we eliminate them, will they ever rear their ugly head again? Yes. I think I've been continually eliminating the I'm not good enough thought and belief for at least a decade. And guess what? Sometimes it still rears its ugly head. Why? Because it's like ingrained in our beings. We're told so often we don't deserve or we're not good enough to have the things that we want. And that is like one of the biggest lies in the universe. All right, step 4, challenge and reframe the top ants. And we'll go into this in detail tomorrow, but you can start thinking about it today, because as soon as you identify something, you want to say, okay, well, what am I going to do when I get rid of this? What am I going to replace it with? So is the thought, ask questions about it's a thought, right? Ants are thoughts. Ask, is this thought 100% true? What evidence supports or contradicts it? And then what would be a balanced or a better perspective of this particular ant? Rewrite the thought into a positive, empowering statement. And again, I'm going to share an example of this. And then tomorrow we are going to dig deep in a 5-step process to kill ants. I like to be an ant killer. Let's share, I'll do maybe Sarah's story because she's first here. She's a perfectionist. Anybody a perfectionist? I can honestly say I am not and have never been or tried to be a perfectionist. It's one thing I did never do. I got plenty of faults and plenty of ways to undermine myself, but perfectionism was never one of them. A background, Sarah is a marketing professional who constantly feels inadequate at work. Step 1, record your thoughts. Sarah noted frequent thoughts like, if I make a mistake, everyone will think I'm incompetent, or I can't present unless it's flawless. I have to do everything perfectly. Step 2, look for patterns. Most of her thoughts revolved around perfectionism and fear of failure. Her top ants, if I'm not perfect, I'm a failure. People will judge me if I make mistakes, and then I'm not good enough. There's that I'm not good enough again. And she reframed these thoughts to mistakes are opportunities to learn, and people respect effort and honesty more than perfection, which I find to be 100% true. People don't want you to be perfect. They want you to be real and who you are and authentic. In my book, and in most people who are authentic's book, authenticism wins over perfection every single time. Some of the most popular brands and businesses in the world are that way because they're authentic, they're real, they are out to really make the world a better place and help other people. They're not existing for show and for, whatever, just for the money. So, what are we going to do today? We're going to identify our top 3 ants. How are we going to do it? We're going to pay attention to our thoughts today and see what pops up. What recurring themes, what things trigger our emotions. Frustration for me is a huge trigger. And I guess that's the emotion that comes from the triggers. And it's silly. It's just when something happens in a way that I don't expect, I get frustrated. How ridiculous a definition is that? And so maybe one of my answers is to redefine frustration for me and the rules that it takes for me to get frustrated. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. So identify your top 3. Pick one to question and see how that makes you feel. See if it makes you feel a little lighter and better today. If you need help with this, if you have any questions about it, it's a huge topic. Literally, I've read the book on it 3 or 4 times because it's that big a topic. But it's up to you if you need help or not. Just ask. All right? That's what we're here for. Have an amazing day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.